Hello lovelies. So I thought I'd come back and do a little video to follow on from the last one, and I think I got to the point where I was going to try and explain a little bit about where I've been, what's been happening. So for those of you that know me know that a few years ago now I had a massive life change, and so I had to take some time out and went into kind of my own space and healing and all of that. And then probably back in 2020, 21, time, it just flies by. So I kind of moved home and started I guess kind of a new beginning, and that new beginning brought different work, new work, extra strings to my bow, and the mind, body and spirit events were a fairly regular thing, as well as the ongoing sound immersions that I've been putting on. So I'm going to try and keep it brief, but year before last, so 23, I actually came to a full-on standstill. And in that I mean my body just shut down, basically. So there was nothing I could do about it. I had to release and surrender and just go with whatever the universe had got for me. And I'm really grateful, really grateful for that time. In the moment, it probably was a little bit scary. Also, it's the whole fear of, letting go of, lots of things, life as you were starting to kind of build it. It brought lots of change and enforced, really, because I chose to listen. Well, I had no choice. But do you know what? It was really time to do my work. I mean, deep, deep inner work. And I would say to anybody previously, I've always been a one for doing work, working through things. Life has been really interesting insofar as there's been many times of having to do those deep dives. And, those kind of moments of coming back out. Breaking through. There's a good one, isn't it? Breaking through. You have to break down to break through sometimes. So it was my physical body that just basically stopped. I'd gone from being really active to really not even getting out to walk the dog. So it was kind of, you cannot ignore, when the universe delivers something like that, you just can't ignore that. So it was time to walk my talk and to do my stuff. And it's taken me a couple of years to really uncover and unfurl, unravel all of those lovely words, and a deep dive into myself. It brought up a lot of things from childhood, and I'm not going to go into that right now today. I'd like to maybe talk about that on a different video and do kind of specific topics, if you like. But I had a lot of delving back into childhood, and then a trip home to Yorkshire last year was absolutely amazing. And I felt everything, it was all part of my, I was going to say recovery, but I don't really know if that's the right word, but revealing, uncovering, and then yes, I guess recovery. Shocking moments, light bulb moments, moments of deep, deep healing, and it's been a journey, and I know people, you know, that go through their stuff, and we're all different, but I really feel now I've got a really good handle on these experiences of life, and a good understanding, and how you know, the reasons behind why I've chosen things in my life. And then a deep, deep look at relationships. That's been really interesting. Not just on a one-to-one partnership level, but also, you know, relationships with everybody around me. You know, my family that's no longer with us, you know, that's passed. My whole, you know, my whole life really. And so it's been amazing, and I've done a real deep dive, and I kind of only feel like I'm coming out of the other side. And in that as well, it's been, you know, really emotional. For those that know me know that I'm quite an emotional person anyway. But yeah, to navigate the emotion that's come has been sometimes overwhelming, and then on the other side of that coin, overwhelming in a good way as well. So yeah, it's been a journey, a hell of a journey, a lot, as I say sometimes to the people. And that, if I say that, you know, then it's been a lot. You know, I'm a shadow diver. So these things kind of come natural to me anyway, and I'm very willing to look at my own stuff, as well as, you know, I've been very helpful, I believe, in helping other people look at their stuff too, and that's been interesting as the observer of how, you know, and this is not just about me, but maybe for you as well, that when you are moving through your own stuff and you're putting that work in, and you're really, you know, like going through things and allowing that to kind of flow through you, the emotion to flow through you, and then, you know, coming out of the other side. So yeah, it's been interesting seeing how my journey, let's say, has then helped other people, you know, and it's shown other people. So yeah, and so the other thing that came while I was just talking there was also about kind of coming back up, let's say, you know, coming out from underneath the rock. I think I probably said in one of the videos, out with the parapet, get my head above the parapet. I'm here again. So yeah, I've had to really feel things very deeply, and like I said before, for me, being a deep person anyway, going even deeper has been mega, and I've learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot about myself. Other people have been helpful, books also, reading. You know, I firmly believe that, you know, when things come to you, there are messages, there are signs, there are prompts, nudges. So even through all of that, I've never lost my light and my awareness of divinity, my conscious awareness. In fact, that's just grown, but in a different way. It's all been very humbling as well, which is beautiful in itself. So yeah, coming out again, re-emerging, has been interesting, and that process actually, and you know, people around me have been helpful. Like I said, reading books or courses. You know, I've kind of pulled in another string to my bow with training for Indian head massage, which I love doing, and people seem to really love receiving that too. But I've just kind of been putting that out there, you know, friends, family, and anybody that wants to kind of have a go, really. And it's really kind of embedded the thought, the feeling for me that, you know, touch, you know, is as a race, as humans, you know, we can be starved of touch. And I think I'm not going to get on the agenda or political because that could be another one, but you know, we've lost that feeling of that connection with people, and I really feel that's because they've lost the connection with themselves, and I can see that in parts for me as well, you know. So that's why I'm passionate right now. I don't want to jump forward too much, but I'm passionate right now of helping other people. And this is not about fixing people, because the only person that can fix is yourself. Other things can be helpful, tools are helpful, you know, ways. I'm very, very happy to share ways, to share tools for other people to kind of do their work, if you like, or, you know, make their lives better. And yeah, that's probably another topic too. Trying to keep it a bit brief, but I do ramble and waffle, which I think is one of my gifts actually. So excuse me while I just take a sip of tea, Earl Grey, don't you know? So coming out, so re-emerging, I felt that I needed some assistance. It's been very odd to be in a place, maybe you could call it the void, where you've let go of all that's gone before, and you know, that's all the programs, all the beliefs, all the stories. Wow, just, yeah, so much identity, you know. So I've looked at that deeply, you know, identity, and you know, ego and heart and all sorts of things. You know, every day has been looking at something, and in a good way, you know, not kind of brought down energetically, but actually, you know, feeling things, moving through things, allowing it to pass through you, because we don't have to carry it. It's magic. We don't have to carry it at all. And it's really empowering to have that kind of realisation. So yeah, that space where you're kind of letting go of all that you've known before, and then you're kind of in that void of, well, right, okay. You might have in that void found who you are, or you're in that process of discovering who you are, and then it's kind of like, what's next, you know? Where's my place in the world? Sorry, plant. Where's my place in the world? Where am I best place in the world, you know? And people talk about their soul purpose and all of that. And I started with doing what brought me joy. So happiness. And there's been a few things. So I'm a freedom for me. Getting out and about with the dog in the van, having little short holly bobs, you know, overnight somewheres. Yeah, so that freedom for me, and being out in nature. Nature is just the best thing ever. So for me, you know, that's been nature, freedom. And then it was finding what brings me joy in a really uplifting way. So I can remember somebody once saying to me, you know, go back to childhood, you know, what did you do? What did you like doing as a child? And do you know what? That was a really good kind of question to process and really think about. You know, what did I like doing as a child? And I actually liked singing as a child, which makes perfect sense to me in my now day-to-day life, and also dancing, which, I mean, for those of you that know me, I was dancing when I was 15, you know, ballroom and Latin American, and then I've done all kinds of dance over the years, and I thought, yeah, I need to do. So I didn't go backwards, but I picked up that thread of what you know brought me joy. And so, you know, the vocal work that I do within the sound healing, I love doing that and what channels through. And also finding 5 rhythms and, you know, barefoot dance, conscious dance, let's say, because that is the complete opposite to learning ballroom and Latin American or tap dancing or ballet or any of those. Completely different, because, you know, with any of, like, say ballroom and Latin American, any of those dances, you're taught that, and there are steps, and this step follows this step, etc., etc. And then with 5 rhythms and movement medicine and barefoot or conscious dance, doesn't necessarily mean you've got to be barefoot either, but those kinds of energy. Ecstatic dance also comes in with that. You're actually moving from the inside out, and that's just your self-expression. And what's really beautiful about that, well, once I'd got my head out of the way, because I initially had to keep having a word with myself to just check back in, get out of the mind and come back into the feeling, come back into the heart, and let the body move where it wants to move. So after that wrestle, if you like, and sometimes it still happens, but then I can switch that now. It's like, no, this is not what we're doing, this is what we're doing. So it's allowing the body to move where it wants to move. And in that brought a great freedom. And I'm not saying, you know, every session that I go to, it's always different, and it's going to be, because we are energy, as we know, and energy is changing all the time. So when you're in that space, you know, you're just you. You know, you can close your eyes, you can shut out the class, the other people, and just allow your body to move where it wants to, how it wants to. Nobody's looking at you, nobody's interested, everybody's in their own process anyway. And so the freedom that comes within that is amazing. So I see other people when they find that as well, you know, maybe start off tentatively, but when they find that place within themselves, and that could be going back to your 6-year-old self, your 15-year-old, whatever age, you know, picking up that feeling of freedom and joy. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but if you do like that side of, you know, dancing, if it's something that you think, oh yeah, that's great, and if it makes me feel good, it brings me a good feeling, then it's something you could potentially explore. I'd encourage anybody to try a session. So 5 Rhythms now is my go-to, and I've been really lucky enough to find somebody, I'm going to say local, they're not overly local to me, but I do have to drive, but a great class, and fortnightly, and then the other thing also, back to that, picking up things that I'm enjoying, that nourish me, that bring me kind of what I need, is Kundalini yoga. So going in a completely different direction, geographically, and again I drive, but I found somebody that I can do Kundalini yoga with, and that has just been right up my alley, because it's very much about the energy and the mantra and the chanting, and that's really fills my heart, and just elevates me enormously. So those are just a few of the things for me that are working, and those things coupled with, like I said, talking to other people. I've jumped on board with a mindset and manifestation coach recently, and that's been really helpful. She's amazing, and there are other people there that everybody's where they're at, but we're sharing things and supporting. And when you're kind of emerging again, and it can feel pretty scary, and some of you might find that surprising, but I've kind of lost all of my confidence, and you've just got to break through. Sometimes it's good to just try and move through our boundaries a little bit, I'm not saying anybody else should push your boundaries, definitely not. But if you're feeling a little bit scared about something, but actually, I've got to kind of do that because this is what I want to move towards or achieve, or change, whatever it is, we've got to, I'm going to say it, put our big girl pants on, or big boxers on, whatever floats your boat, but do that and just break through it, and just give it a go, and try things. I've always been a believer of that anyway. Try things, step out of your comfort zone a little bit, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, you don't do it again. But you never know, you might just surprise yourself. So just a few things there of bringing encouragement in, and that's really what I want to work with as I move forward. And I will talk about that in another video, because I feel that it kind of deserves its own space. Otherwise, I might be here rambling on for about 3 hours, and you probably wouldn't appreciate that. But there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm really excited about future things, but I'm excited on a day-to-day basis as well of but I've got a lovely balance in life, and I kind of now I'm really grateful every day for that, and for everything that I've traversed, all of the years, all of the highs, all of the lows, especially the lows, because I now really, really see, and I've taken absolute full responsibility of me and my life, and that's not down to anybody else to live it, you know, and create and to be and do and to love, you know. That's down to me. That's not down to anybody else. It's my choice. And that's really what I want to share with people also, is that you have a choice. There is always a choice, you know, and yes, your mindset does matter. But, you know, we can deal with that. Absolutely. If I can do it, I think anybody can, you know, with just a little bit of help and a bit of guidance, a lot of love, as always. You know, that's really what I want to do as I move forward, is to create space for other people to move into that, you know, because it's totally freeing. And then what happens is when you say yes, and then the universe goes, oh, finally. And then things, I mean, I was just having a conversation this morning with a friend about how quickly things are manifesting. And I've just been blown away the last few weeks of how some things haven't, and you kind of get that stop, and I always look at that. But then how, when I've listened, felt into the nudges, how things have unfolded and manifested. Some of the smallest things, and then some big things too. So it's amazing how the universe speaks back to us, but it is about coming into alignment. Now, you know, we've heard these words bandied about, haven't we? You know, about being in alignment for manifestation. And yes, I get it. I absolutely understand it and get it. And only because I've done all this inner work, because none of my old programs or patterns, beliefs that are not mine, you know, that have been programmed, let's say, from maybe childhood, or throughout the years, you know, none of it is who I am. And when we can get to a point of allowing that to dissolve and start to remember who we really are, then wow. And it's not about stuff either. So I'm going to leave this one here now, because I'd like to talk about, you know, exciting new things in another video, but I think I'd like to finish off this one with just saying thanks for being patient, and thank you for sticking around. I'm going to pop this on so you probably found this on the YouTube channel. I might do a little intro to stick on my other socials to point you in the direction of YouTube. So if you would like, I'm going to say it, if you would like to like and subscribe, you know, any other little snippets that come along are probably going to be there too. I'd like to build some things, because I'd like to perhaps do some videos, put some things up that, you know, people are going to find helpful. So yeah, that's really what I'd love to do. So yes, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so far in life to all of those that have been part of my life, whether it's been a reason, a season, or a lifetime. because all of you have been part of this journey, and I'm really, really grateful, and I mean that heartfully, grateful for however you were in my life and all the lessons and awakenings, let's say, that it's brought. So thank you for being around, but thanks for being here. And as always, reach out. Please reach out. Okay. Till next time, my lovelies, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave you to it. And I'll see you again. Bye for now. Lots of love. Lots of love. Bye.